Good morning. It's Tuesday, February the 26th. Next couple of days here, we're going to have a snow, ice, blizzard, so no flying. But yesterday was really nice, and a couple of days before that, I got a couple of quick flights in, and I was testing some firmware and the camera, and had a few more thoughts on the Fimi X8 SE. Since my last comparison, I've done some rethinking. I'm not going to sell the Fimi. I may still sell the other one, those that shall not be named. And we shall see where firmware updates go. The reason I'm keeping it is because I have had some successful communications with the officials at Fimi. At the most maybe a day to respond in my emails, and they reached out and thanked me for my concerns, and I sent them the entire list that was on my number 8-part series with all the pros and cons for the Fimi and the other one that shall not be named. And they agreed, and they tried to fix the blue tint issue with their firmware update of 1024, pardon me, it used to be 1011E, now it's, was it 1012A or something, 1012E, whatever, but there is an update for that, so 1012A, yeah, 1012A. So then I told them there was all kinds of problems with shake, and my conclusions were it was directly related to temperature. In the manual it says that it's flyable from 0 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. So I took that to test, and it might be right on the mark because anything below 0 it will not fly if the medium temperature of the craft is below 0. So if you took the battery out and heated it up and shoved a warm battery into the cold body, it won't fly. It'll just say it's too cold. It won't fly. You can be 3 degrees below 0. It won't fly, in my experience. If you bring it from the house where it's warm with a warm battery and put it down in -6 degrees, -5 degrees, it'll fly because it's already pre-warmed up enough, and once it gets going, it's just going to keep on going. So that was my concern, that the shake may be directly related to the temperature. So I've got 3 clips here to show you. One is of the very first maiden flight, and they're about 50 seconds apiece. And on the maiden flight, it was -5 degrees Celsius. And you can see for yourself when I run the clip that there's a lot of shake. Okay. Then there's a second clip where it was 3 degrees above 0, and that was with the updated camera firmware, 1012A. The first one is with the old firmware, the original firmware. And then the third clip is about 2 or 3 degrees above 0 again. However, Fimi reached out to me and said, would I be interested in being a test dummy? And the dummy I am, I said, sure, for what? And they want to rectify the shaking. So they gave me an update Gimbal firmware to try out, and it gives you a slider option to put the gain from 0 to 200%, and the default is 100%. And I tested that in a few. So we're going to have the 3 videos showing now, and then I'll give a little explanation after each one. So here's the first clip, and remember, it's the maiden voyage, -5 degrees Celsius, very little wind, and I'd taken the craft from inside where it was warm to outside. Okay, here we go. Number 1. Okay, let's see if we can see the water tower. There's the water tower. a really cloudy day. The maiden flight. Let's see, we'll take her down the road. Down. That intersection is about 200 meters. And we're back. As you saw, a lot of shake. It was cloudy, a lot of shake. Yeah, it could have been something to do with compass calibrations, all that stuff, but it was shaky. Okay, now here's the second one. It's still with the original gimbal firmware, and it's with the updated camera firmware, the 1012A. So there's not as much blue tinge. There is still some slight blue tinge, but not as much. So they're getting there. So here's the second one, and you'll notice there's very little. I can't really see if there's any shake or jello. It's not bad. It's not 100% crisp and clear, and again, I bring that down to temperature, because the warmer it gets, the better the video gets. Okay, so here's the second video. "26 meters, 35, we'll go to 40, and we'll go down the road." Go down to the 200 meter mark and we'll come back. So we're up at 48 meters. There we go. So we're okay, we're there. We're about. And that was the second video. So as you saw, there was no shake, no jello. It wasn't bad. It was a warm weather day. Okay, now here's the third one. And the third one is after I got the gimbal update. It's 1012H. I'd been testing it up and down, and I couldn't really see any difference because in warm weather I didn't have a problem with the gimbal. But what I noticed was the higher up in the percentages, the more sensitive the gimbal is, and the more sensitive it is, the more sensitive the gimbal is, the more shake you're going to get. So here's, in this clip, it's at the end of a run that I had it at 185%. And you'll notice, and I'm just about to change it to 100%, which is the default. And you'll notice that it's a little bit shaky at 185% because it's very sensitive. And as soon as I put it into 100% and hit the check mark, it stables out, becomes solid. So to me, the lower percentage you have, if you have minor shake, it will help. The higher the percentage above 100, it's going to be worse. So let's run this clip. It's the third one, and it was about 2 or 3 degrees above zero, very little wind, and you can see in the beginning what I'm talking about. Here's the third one. If I can change it. %. Okay, go down the road again. Here we go. Full stick. stop. I'm going to return to home. So what do you think? You can go back to all these three and look at them. And my conclusion was A, the Fimi X8 SE is a warm weather flyer. It flies for video. It flies great in warm weather. And warm weather, I'm probably saying above 5 degrees Celsius. No problem booting up, no problem preheating, no problem finding GPS. It's a smooth flyer, it's stable, and it's reliable. The return to home works. It's not precision, but it comes back within a meter or so. It's not bad, okay? The focus is a little bit soft in some areas, but it's not too bad. It's not quite as good as the other one that shall not be named, but it's pretty good, and I'm sure they can get it a little bit better. Okay, my issues with it is more the physical hardware problems. It's too close to the ground. The battery buttons get in the way when I'm picking it up. There's no gimbal cover. Things like this. As far as flying goes, it handles wind respectably. A lot better than the other one that shall not be named. So I think it's worth keeping. I don't know why I said it wasn't last time. Maybe I was just frustrated that I couldn't get any answers, and then I started getting answers. So maybe I jumped the gun a little bit on that one. My other big, huge issue with the Fimi is the controller. The battery on the controller does not last. I might get 1.5 flights out of a battery charge on the controller. That's full flights, so 30 minutes, whatever. So they're saying I should be getting 1.5 hours or more, which is 3 flights, and I'm just getting over 1 flight, 1 battery flight, so that's 30 minutes on the controller. And once it gets off of that 50% mark, it goes down real quick. So I'm not happy with that. But overall, it's a reliable flyer. I wish the gimbal cover was there, and I wish it had a bag, and I wish the box was made to hold a bag and to hold the Fimi and an extra battery, but it's not. So that's the end of this short, long video. It's all about are they fixing or trying to fix the gimbal shake that they know is there? I think they're trying, but I put most of it up to cold weather. Cold weather, high winds or gusts, but mainly cold weather. And the focus issue, again, I think it's mainly cold weather. I see some of the videos from Hawaii and from other places, and it seems fine. It seems a lot better than mine. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for what comes up next. Bye.